So a game that's currently in testing that not a lot of YouTubers are actually talking about is a game called Fragpunk. And oh, listen, when I first saw the trailer for it, it was another one of these over-the-top, colorful hero-type shooters where their entire identity is wrapped up in, oh, look how crazy the colors are. It actually reminded me a lot of when we first saw the announcement trailer for X Defiant. It was this like, punk meets frag meets guns FPS, and I was instantly turned off from the game. But I did get invited to play in their recent closed beta test. I think it's happening now. I have no information. I literally, like, this game was a complete write-off for me. I went in with almost negative expectations. And if I can be completely honest with you guys, the developers at Bad Guitar Studio, they have something here. So the game is a 5v5 hero-based first-person shooter that features power-up cards that what they say is bend the rules of combat. So you earn shards throughout the game, and then before every round, you can purchase cards that are basically modifiers for your team that can do things like decreasing your skill cooldowns. There's one that even adds an extra sight to the map for attackers. So instead of going A or B to plant a bomb, you can actually take it to C as well, and it just makes another point on the fly. And I actually think that that mechanic, albeit a little gimmicky, is pretty cool. It brings something new to the tried and true stale as fuck gameplay that we have seen in this genre for the last 25 years. And jumping in for the first time, it's a sensory overload. Like, I'm watching the tutorial, you guys are seeing the game on screen here. There is so much going on screen. There's so many colors. You shoot somebody, colors are flying everywhere. It felt like I just did a bunch of Adderall and blended it up with acid and just dumped it down my throat. It is fucking insane. And I actually think that that is to the detriment of this game. I feel like it's coming out at a time where people are just kind of over games like this. But the gunplay itself in this and the movement and the feel of the game is actually pretty good. It's not the worst game that I have played in the world. I actually like this pacing of this game more than another game that I've been playing a lot of recently, which is Spectre Divide, which is like a 3v3, but you have 2 lives, and that game brings a unique twist to this like attack and defend, search and destroy style gameplay. Fragpunk actually has a more unique concept. It has, in my opinion, a better pacing and game flow. I don't know if it has better gunplay. It's 2 completely different styles. But if I, like, gun to head had to pick which one I wanted to spend more time in, I would choose Fragpunk. If it wasn't for the over-the-top color palette and the cluttered UI that you guys are seeing on screen here, it's not my style of game. And like I said, as somebody who is like very like ear to the ground watching trends and watching the community discussion around a lot of these games, I think Fragpunk is going to struggle to find any sort of player base because a lot of gamers, like, you know, we saw the shit with Concord. We see this all the time when really, really colorful games come out and they're over the top. They have crazy, unique styles. A lot of people don't gravitate towards them, and increasingly more so over the years, people are just starting to reject this type of game. But if you were to take this and tell me that Ubisoft was making X Defiant and this is what it turned into, I would actually like, okay, yeah, that's a unique twist. But looking at this versus a game like X Defiant, and it's like, I don't know what Ubisoft was even thinking with that game. Why couldn't they have made something a little bit more unique? It didn't have to tie into all of these different franchises, and they could have done something really, really cool like Fragpunk. Fragpunk has great map design. It has great, unique concepts with this card and shard system. It has that attack and defend style one life game mode that I love. It has good gunplay, and it also has one of the most unique overtime mechanics that I have seen in a game like this. You basically choose your spot, and you guys, if you end up tied 3-3 at the end of the game, nobody can take the 4th round. You guys go in and do like 1v1 gulags, one after another, and you stay in there until you die, and then your teammate takes your next place, and you have to eliminate the entire team before all of your guys die. It is very, very cool. It's just a crazy over-the-top style that I think is going to turn more people off than it does on. And I will say, like, with me saying that, I hope that's not the case, because when this game does come out, or if it goes into like an open test and people can actually play it, I actually want to play more of it. Even though it's not my style, and even though it's like, again, a sensory overload, it's something that I actually want to put more time into. If there's a ranked mode or, things to unlock and work towards, I would be down to play this more. But I do think it's going to struggle significantly trying to get people on board for a game like this when the common trend in the industry now is just to shut these games out of existence. Fuck the color, the magenta. We want grounded, more, realistic military style games, which I think is where the trend is going, which I will say is also a good thing because that's my realm. But a game like Fragpunk, I think, deserves more than what they're getting. I think they tied themselves to a style that is so unique that they're going to struggle out the gate. If you guys have a chance to play the game, play it, try it out, literally go in with zero expectations. If you're somebody who hates these kind of games, but you have access to it, you got invited, you can apply for the playtest or however you can get into it, try it out, go in with zero expectations. And I actually think if you can look at the game as a product, as a whole, there are a lot of positives that you can extract from it, and I think you could actually have some fun. Now, this test is happening throughout Steam Next Fest. I believe that it ends on Monday. And for my console people, it is available on Xbox as well. So what this says here, if you're on Steam and you're on PC, you can go to the store page, request access, and then join the playtest when they invite you. And if you're on Xbox, you can go via the Xbox Insider Sessions, and you can apparently be recruited that way. You have to apply directly through the Xbox Insider Hub app. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been on a console in a long time. I don't even know what the fuck that is. And in terms of something like a release date, I don't know if they even have a date in mind. They're probably waiting for the feedback from this test. All I'm gonna say is don't change a thing based on the perception of a lot of people who don't want to play games like this. Because while I think the colors and the crazy over-the-top UI and everything else is a little bit too much for me, I think once you start dialing all of that stuff back, that's when this game actually loses its uniqueness factor, which I think might separate itself from the competition and might be able to find a small but loyal player base. I don't know. This isn't the typical game that I cover on this channel. It is an FPS, it is multiplayer, it is One Life. It has all of these things that I actually look for in games like this, and they even solve the main complaint about all of these games is that all of them are the same. It's just generic attack and defend One Life. Granted, that is what I like, but I do know a lot of people are getting burnt out of playing the exact same things over and over and over. And this is like the conundrum of developing games in the FPS space nowadays. And this is actually the synopsis for another video that I want to make. What do developers do if people don't want the exact same thing we've been getting year in and year out? But then when developers try something different, people aren't willing to give it a chance because of reasons A, B, and C. It's one of the toughest things to do as an FPS developer is be able to keep your finger on the pulse for what people want, because this community is so big and so massive and we're spread across so many different styles of FPS that it's tough to garner enough of a player base to support games long term. So everyone just always goes back to old faithfuls and the cycle continues. But I know right off the bat my community is going to absolutely destroy the art style, and I hope that people actually give it a chance. Let me know what you guys think down below. Is this a game that you actually see yourself playing? Do you give a shit? Let's have a conversation down below. Let me know your thoughts. And while you're down there, leave a like on the video, subscribe for more content just like this. My name is Big Fry, and I'll see you on the next one.